National Stadium, you pass through Ikorodu Road, get to Third Mainland Bridge, and connect that to the island and start coming all the way to Eko. That 42 kilometers is a long distance, and to get these athletes to do that. And we've had some record times at this tournament. I think the course record for the Lagos Marathon is 2 hours, 10 minutes and 23 seconds. Do you think we can try to beat that time this year?
We really need to beat that time. David Mbamasia was the man who did it for the male, and that's something really huge. And like I said, moving to platinum is key. And athletes like this are needed. We have about 7 elite athletes in this particular race, and that's one big thing that we are looking forward to.
Just pushing to get the right times to get to platinum, and we have to run sub 2 hours, 10 minutes.
Exactly. You have to just go down there and see how we can push it to World Athletics to get to that height.
All right, so let's see if we can make that course record in this year. But speaking about the finish line, there is one of the best reporters in Nigeria standing at the finish line where everybody's supposed to be. Okay, so we're going to get to Soir-Chapelle eventually. We're going to get to Soir-Chapelle eventually. She's at the finish line and she'll tell us what she can see from there. But before we get to Soir at the finish line, let's come back to this platinum that we are looking for. In 2016, that's when the Lagos Marathon started. 2017, we had already moved up a level. And then we moved on in 2019 to silver. 2023 was gold. How great is that progression from just starting in 2016 and already in 2024 we are pushing for platinum? How great is that progression?
I mean, it will be very great. Over the years, I mean, the Lagos City Marathon, it's something that should be on that level, the platinum label level. I mean, the progression has been great, and for those who are watching who don't know, the platinum is the highest level of certification for, you know, this long distance races event by the World Athletics as well. So getting that platinum label will be something really, you know, commendable.
Because I'm not very far off. I walk 10,000 steps a day.
Okay.
That should suffice.
You walk, right? Maybe you should apply for walking race.
Maybe I should join the 10 kilometers.
Walking race should be fine.
No, that'll be good. Yeah, but speaking about the prize money, let's talk about the 10 kilometers because there are some people that actually wait for 10 kilometers. Last year, some people were running for cars, some people were running for land. For the sake of it. But let's talk about the 10 kilometers because that's part of the community building in Lagos, Nigeria. How is that helping build a united community, especially for Lagosians that participate every year at that tournament?
I mean, Lagos, we like to work out. we like to, you know, keep ourselves fit, which is one of the initial aim of this event, you know, to encourage a healthy lifestyle amongst Lagosians. So that 10 kilometers, I mean, it's not a do or die thing. So if that's your level, you can get to participate, and you know, it's something that we hope that everybody who participates gets to have fun and enjoy it at the end of the day. So yeah, 10 kilometers, I think is something we can just do.
Yeah, unfortunately, the 10 kilometers. It's a lot more for recreation. So you see a lot of people walking in groups, a lot of running clubs coming together to participate in that. So that's to engage the community. But going back to the elite athletes, let's go back to last year's results, 2024. So, but that was the women's part. Kebene walking away with that prize. But again, Ethiopia winning it. What's Kenyan men doing that Ethiopian women are not doing?
So I like that question. I've looked at this thing.
Yeah.
I would have just asked, what are Nigerian women? But the beautiful thing is you don't tell who wins it.
Yeah, because the Kenyan men are winning it. They should be running with their counterparts.
They looks favorite again.
Yeah. So we talked about weather earlier.
Yeah.
We talked about training. Sometimes it works perfectly for the men. It doesn't do the same for the women.
Women, yeah.
So it looks like it's Ethiopia dominating the women and Kenya dominating the men. But I wouldn't want to leave out the fact that Nigerians are also doing greatly well. Yeah. Participating is key. I talked about Bernard Sang also doing greatly well. That's the man
that's
who,
for the men.
Yeah, the man who did
and you can see
well.
Kenya,
all three.
that's
Three
what I'm
straight
saying.
So
Bernard Sang. Bernard Sang also came third in 2023. So in 2023, he walked away with
$30,000.
And then in 2024, he walked away with $50,000. So he improved his time from the year before to this year. So maybe this year he'll be able to help us push. But that is a repeat winner, and that's somebody that aspired. Kenya, all over again. Are those the guys that are going to push to give us the platinum time that we're looking for?
It's a tough call. You cannot decide at this point. Things change. We've seen athletes move by 10 minutes and better. We've seen them move by 5 minutes better. And at this point, we're just looking forward to seeing who does it at this point in time is the big question that remains to be answered. I just want to wait for those 7 platinums and maybe even see a shocker like you mentioned.
Yes, let somebody just outrun, because the prize money is more than bring this result that we need. Let's talk about the weather. Let's talk about the weather. Now, this is very important because if you are going to talk about pushing for the new times, let's look at the humidity in Lagos. Let's look at the weather forecast for today.
Talking about the weather, it's something that will be really, really challenging, because running in such conditions affects some of these athletes. Humid conditions, and as you can see, the weather in Lagos as well, it's not going to be easy. And these are foreigners who are here in Nigeria as well, trying to readjust to the weather conditions here. So it's always going to be difficult, whatever, races you are, not just the Lagos City Marathon now, whatever races, wherever you find yourself, the weather is always an interesting factor that these athletes will want to consider and look into. So at the end of the day, we hope they adapt.
26 is pretty fair.
Yeah, we hope they adapt this time around, because it's really hot.
It's really tough.
Here in Lagos. So.
And this is pretty interesting, because when we talk about the weather, we just talk about the clouds, we talk about how hot, how cold, but humidity is key.
Exactly.
Because I was talking to one of the technical directors of the race, and he was talking about the humidity in Lagos in particular. Is it going to be feasible? Because remember, the course record was set virtually. So when we talk about the course record, running sub 10, that was set virtually. That was not even set. Yeah. But now we're trying to beat the course record with the humidity in Lagos.
And it's a big challenge. I like the fact that you had to stretch that part, the humidity in Lagos. I've seen athletes from Jos come here to do even better.
Yeah.
Because they understand how hot it can be over there and how cold. So they've been able to train with such humidity, and also the environment that they've got, the mountain. They've done a couple of mountaineering to make it even easier for them to get to that height. So when you hear athletes from Jos talking about the best of them,
yes, because the Nigerians that have set the record for the Nigerian times are from Jos.
Yeah, Ilya Palm and Deborah Palm. They started with Ibadan, doing it in 2018, came down here in 2020 and made that record for themselves. So it's all brilliant, and we know the fact that, like I said, the weather and the environment you find yourself helps you. The Ethiopians know these things. They take advantage of their environment. The Kenyans know these things. They take advantage of their environment. So the weather in Lagos looks like normal for some Kenyans. So that's why you see that they keep winning. They keep winning, and they understand these things so well that this weather sometimes, or most times, are even hotter than what we have right here now.
Yeah,
so they take advantage
of that and come out here to perform. All right, exactly. So we have been talking about the 10th edition of the Be on a sad note, an auspicious year, because one of the, would I say, founding corporate sponsors of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon passed on in tragic circumstances last year. Let's look at one moment. Let's pay a tribute to this man, Herbert Wigwe, former group head of Access Bank. He was one of the people that saw the vision to push for the Lagos City Marathon. And it was a sad one to lose him last year. In fact, this year we are celebrating the remembrance or the memorial of such a great man, because without him catching the vision, we would not have been able to bring the Lagos City Marathon to you. Let's talk about the great man, Herbert Wigwe.
I mean, it adds extra significance to this year's race because, like you said, it's the first anniversary since his sad demise. I mean, and in the morning of February 10, 2024, it sent shockwaves across the country when the news broke. I mean, you know, passing on in such circumstances, not just him, his wife, and one of his, you know, children as well. So it adds extra significance to this year's event. And talking about his vision, I mean, this race started with just encouraging Lagosians to have a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
But over the years, through his vision, you could see
become
the
more
race has become more professional.
Yes.
I mean, with over 14 countries participating, a lot of athletes registering to take part in this marathon. So that tells you how significant his impact has been as far as the Lagos City Marathon is concerned. So it's a sad loss, and for every race moving on, we're always going to remember Herbert Wigwe for what he's done as far as the Lagos City Marathon is concerned. So it's just a sad one.
It's a sad one.
What he's done
it's a
so
tough
far
one.
over the years. So
and
he's
been such an amazing philanthropist. It's not just with sports, it's also with education.
Education, and even with you talk about the religious lifestyle. He never jokes with it. Building stores here and there. He made a huge university, and he said to 11 was going to be free. That's how huge Herbert Wigwe was. And I saw him speaking with such confidence and joy that he was doing, spending billions
just to get people to get free
happy.
education. And it's so
you know
sad.
how painful it was. The fact was, people were still celebrating the last year's event when we got that news of him
of him losing his life.
But the good thing, the lady left still carrying the dream.
Yes, and the legacy he left, and that is what this is about. It's also legacy. It's 10 years of Access Bank Lagos City Marathon, but it's also the legacy that a man saw, the vision a man saw and helped build, that we keep carrying till now. Speaking about supporting the vision, let's thank some of the sponsors that made today possible. Apart from Access Bank, we would also like to thank 7up. We would also like to thank ValueJet because these are the sponsors that have made this possible. So these are some of the sponsors that made this possible, and over the program we are going to thank some of our sponsors. But right now, let's go over to the venue and let's look at these are the pictures now from National Stadium. This is just before the race is about to start. You can see everybody getting in position. The elite athletes in front, the regular athletes behind. Let's talk about the security right now. That's the security in front. Look at all the sponsors lined up. Look at Lagos Under Bridge, lit up like there's a party there. Lagos is ready.
Very much ready. Beyond Dirty December. Like you said, I would have wanted to be here.
Those are some of our colleagues. We can see them getting ready to cover.
And that's what it's about.
That's the media. We can see the media getting ready to cover. But we're also getting ready to see such a brilliant race. Now, we're talking about this from the start of the race. I like the fact that the security is key. Let's talk about all the officials that have come together to put such a great event. Because everybody's carrying their part. There's the vision, there's the Lagos State government who have made things available. So we want to say thank you to Lagos State government for making this possible and bringing such a success to it, lighting up the town, providing security. We want to thank all the uniformed men on ground to make sure that traffic moves smoothly, to make sure that the race is run effectively, to make sure that there's security for everybody participating at this tournament. We say thank you to all our uniformed men. But let's go back to that start. Have you that start at Lagos City Marathon? I remember, trying to tell the protocol officers, I want to be in front, and they said, "Hey guys, only elite athletes that are there."
Yeah, Palan to say it's squeaky bum time. It's about to begin. The race is about to start. So there's this excitement in the air when you see those athletes at the finish line, just ready to. You just wait for the sounds of the gun to just get the race rolling. So, we wish every athlete all the best. You talked about security. You could see protocol officers there on ground, waiting for things to happen. We also, going to thank Lagosians as well for their cooperation as well, because this also will affect movements one way or the other, because diversions have been made, alternative routes has also been made. So it's a whole thing, not just the athlete now, Lagosians and everyone involved as well, who are hoping that this race becomes successful. But looking at that start point, we can't wait for the race to get started. The athletes are ready. Wish everyone all the best, and I hope I'm praying everyone gets to the finish line. Because
all right.
It's not just to start, but to finish.
Now speaking about the start, because we have seen the athletes lined up, let's look at the starting list for the elite athletes that are present. So let's talk about the starting list for the elite athletes that are present. Let's start with a lot of the Kenyans. How many Kenyans are here? Because they are the ones dominating, so let's see.
For the men.
For the men. So now we look at the starting list for the men. A lot of Kenyans I can see, about 20 something on the men's side.
Yeah.
With the women, it's a bit of a mix, and hopefully the women this year they will try to get in there, usurp the Ugandans and the Ethiopians that we can see on the list, and then try to win this race. But this is, like you said, squeaky bum time.
I would love to see more countries, participate in this year's edition, but I mean, the favorites are dominating. I mean, a lot of Ethiopians, a lot of Kenyans, a handful of Nigerians as well, a couple of Ugandans and participating in the race as well. As you can see on your screens, just waiting for the sound of the gun to get the race going. You can see the smiles from their faces. They want to get going. They want to get this race started. And like I said,
and that's the DG Sports. He's already greeting them. That's the director of National Sports Commission. Yeah. He's at the start line waiting to see them go off. He just can't wait. He's even saying that they should watch the time. So we are good to go. This is an interesting one already. Can't wait for them to go off. That's Yusuf Ali. He's a former Olympian for Nigeria. A former athlete for Nigeria, and he's come back home to bring his expertise to this marathon. And they have kicked off. They have left off. They have kicked off. They've left off, and so the race has started. This is the 10th edition of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. I'm going to leave the studio commentary now, and we're going to hand over to Azubike Onitsha and Emmanuel Sebastian on commentary to take the race from there. You can see the elite runners have already gone. That was them shooting the gun, and then the race started. So the commentators are going to take it on for here. I will see you back in 10 minutes.
The 2025 Lagos City Marathon is on the way. As you can see, the athletes from the start points from the National Stadium in Lagos, and the athletes are on the way for the 2025 Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian. I'm here alongside Azubike Onitsha. As we could see, we hope that this race lives up to every expectation and every bit of excitement. I mean, the D-Day is finally here. The build-up to this event have been wonderful, and finally we get to see these athletes also get on the way for this 2025 Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. Well, Azu, the excitement is finally here. You can see the athletes now making their way the early hours of Saturday morning in Lagos. What are your thoughts and expectations as we see the kids?
Great race, that record being broken. I just mentioned earlier that we're looking forward to seeing the best of performances, looking forward to just getting beyond gold label to platinum, and the athletes who will make it happen are very much right here. We'll have 7 for men for platinum, the elite athletes. We've got 5 for women also for platinum, and this is some of the top athletes right here. I'm not going to leave out the space for surprises to get to happen. I'm also looking majorly to Nigerians who will do something great in this particular one. It's going to be a huge event, and surely something is going to happen today. The athletes are very much prepared. 42 kilometers is a huge one. And starting from the point where they are to the end of it, it's going to be continuity, endurance, and that perseverance to see that they cross the finish line. What a brilliance this will be. And like I said earlier, beyond the Kenyans, the Ethiopians winning this one, I'm looking forward to seeing the first Nigerian who's going to cross the finish line.
both male and female.
Well, the day we finally wait for is here, and you can see the athletes currently going through their paces. I mean, it's a marathon, like they say in Pidgin parlance. No, but who first starts, go finish case, you know. So these athletes, is not about who makes the best start. It's about getting to the finish line to accomplish this race. I mean, for every athlete who are here to participate in this race, there's always a strategy to how you go from this race. Do you want to start fast and maintain all to the very end, or you want to, you know,
take it
for
slow.
every point, you increase your pace and you get going?
So most times I've seen the artists, or the athletes rather, who finish first, not start very much on a fast pace. They take it slowly. They understand this terrain so well. 42 kilometers is not walking. This is a distance that will take you hours, or even at least 30 minutes to drive past. So you imagine that kind of a distance and you're walking, you're running through it. You don't run like you're being chased. You take it gradually. And that's what these guys are trying to do. You see the best athletes start from the back, and they just take it gradually. Before you know it, when they get to pick up that pace, they know when to, and who understands the race.
It's Ethiopian, you know, Nigerians also. The winner from the definitely one of
the first year, what we had, and you make it look at 19 minutes and 23 seconds. That's a match to get it. Just run you through what the athletes have put their minds to. You know, when they get used to the terrain for his country and also for himself, it's a great.
The 20, also one of the names. Will be no push of us, definitely the favorite. Elements of surprise. I mean, we lost on over the years. You know, it's in this race. Well, this race we've got Nicholas Kripskegi, Julius Taros, Nehemet Kipyegon, Lankwasa Jonathan, Chesire Jeruto, Jerono Peris, and in the 2025 Lagos, rightfully our tops.
You just talked about Herpa of Ethiopia. Kebene has done this before. They also want to be a part of the fact that is here. At the Begna athletes, Nancy Matthew, Elizabeth Nuhu Power, Godfrey Nancy Matthew, Elizabeth Nuhu Power, Godfrey Charity, Blessing Shambo Solomon, Patience Dalop, Sergio Ishmael, Dowda John, Selengwe Constant, Tokbek White, Godfrey Copton Gorman, William Barry Sunday, Stephanus Peter Mahan, not forgetting the likes of Friday Johanna for the men, Manshak Moses, Riti Timothy, Elisha Friday, Yango Solomon Boy, Yango Gyang Boy. Looks like those are siblings making it to this race. Emmanuel makes it even more interesting having both Yangos on the same race. David John Gochen is also on this one. Nemfort Matthias is on this race. Not forgetting the likes of Okot Friday. Another Yango. Okay, I mentioned Yango Solomon Boy earlier.
Who are the names to look out for? Who are the names to watch out for?
It has to be Leah Pam. That's the same man who did it in Ibadan in 2018, the Ibadan Marathon. And came down to break the record. That's the best record Nigeria's ever made right here at the Lagos City Marathon, the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon race. That was in 2020, a beautiful one. He did it with his wife, and to see him come back is really, really huge. He had a very good record.
Some couple goals there.
Yeah, a couple goals, you understand. That's the kind of couple goals I want to achieve. And just to confirm, they're just around 5 a year at this point as the race moves on. Let me add one Nigerian name more, so it doesn't look like we left out Joel Amadu Gyang. That's another man, most likely from Jos, running this race for Nigeria. So we have a couple of athletes to look forward to, getting the best of everything from them.
Well, these athletes, you can see athletes who are hoping to also achieve some personal best in this race. You can see some of the athletes as they make their way to the finish line. They look to their watch to, you know, the personal best has been set. So if at the end of the day they get to achieve it, I mean, it's something huge for these athletes. I mean, it's not just about participating to win, but you also want to take part in this race to also get to the finish line as well.
So, like you said, doing better than your personal best is something really key. But sometimes, you know, age also takes you out. But I've understood something from these marathon runners, these long distance runners. They seem to maybe do well sometimes, even better when they go older. Ilya won the male category in Ibadan. Just to take you back, with 2 hours, 36 minutes. He came down to, that was in Ibadan, that was in 2018. He came down to Nigeria and did something really great, improving his personal best by almost 10 minutes, if not more. I think he did some very good race time over there in 2020, right here in Nigeria. And that same lane, we're looking forward to seeing the best of it from him in this Lagos Marathon. I'll get his time and also put it out there so you know what you'll be looking forward to from that man, Ilia Palm, the man who had he and his wife do the best of times as far as Nigerian athletes are concerned.
Well, these athletes continue to march on. Well, we talked about the race course for this year's Access Bank City Marathon. Of course, the start point was from the National Stadium in Surulere, and then move on to Barracks. Also, the start of Domalong Bridge, Fadei Footbridge as well. From there, they get to Onipam, Palm Grove. I mean, it's a whole lot of course. I mean,
that
so
sounds
many.
like your route, Emmanuel.
so many trademark points here in Lagos as far as this race is concerned. So it goes on, and of course the end point is at the Eco Atlantic, where these athletes will be finishing this beautiful race.
It's going to be huge. The joy to see these athletes get to the cross line, and who says Emmanuel Ilia Palm cannot do it in this one. He did something great the last time. Like I said, in 2020, he got 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 30 seconds. And for the wife, that's Ilia Palm, or rather Deborah Palm, she had 2 hours, 45 minutes, 17 seconds in 2020, 4 years ago. So it's some brilliant stuff, and I tell you, the best of everything is what we wait for from these athletes.
Well, we hope that this race lives up to the very best of expectations right here for the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon for the 2025 edition. The athletes continue to power on, they continue to charge on, but just to remember, we've still got some of the beautiful analysis from the studio right here for this race. So we go over to Tega in the studio to continue giving us the best of analysis and talking points from this race. Tega, over to you.
Welcome to the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. These are the live studios brought to you by the official. Welcome to the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. These are the live studios of World Network, the official broadcast partners of the Lagos City Access Bank Marathon. Now, I have in the studio with me Suor Chappelle and former athlete, but Nigerian representative silver medalist. She is the project officer and the liaison officer of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon, and she's right here. But we're trying to push for something here. We've been talking about it earlier. We're trying to push for the platinum label. We have gold already. We're trying to push for platinum. What do we need to do in this race to get us to do that?
Basically, what we need to do is when you rate athletes are also rated by labels. So you have platinum athletes, you have gold athletes. So you have to have at least 3 platinum male and female, and at least 4 gold male and female, because you need to reach a high mark. Their total overall score needs to be high for platinum. Also, the dope testing, you do more. You don't just do things like the urine, you do the blood test. And there are some rules and regulations required for like the medical areas and the finish line that you have to do. And then the prize money,
Yeah.
We are one of the 50,000 is the first prize money.
Yeah.
You cannot go anything less than 50,000. You can go 75. You start from 75 for platinum for the prize money. So all those things put together will make us get to platinum
At this point in time. But let's look at the pace of the guys. They have already started the race. Is there any possibility of setting a course record this year?
Let's be realistic in the terms that we have a certain climate here.
Yeah.
And the last time we set the record, Harmattan had set in, so it was very cool. 2020,
yeah.
It was good Harmattan, and it was really cool. And I remember waking up that day and saying, oh, we're going to break this record. But today, it's not so hot, but it's a bit breezy. So, but the thing is that anything can happen, depending on how 50,000 is good motivation.
Yeah,
it's a good motivation.
Yeah.
And we have top tier athletes. We have gold label athletes running here. So anything can happen. The Summer Olympics is in summer, so it's hot. I remember Tokyo was as hot as it is here. So
exactly. So it's not like this is the hottest place on the planet.
Yes. So anything can happen. I'm very optimistic when it comes to Nigerian sports. Very.
I know, as a former athlete and as a medalist, of course, these are one of the things you need to talk about. Let's also talk about the lifestyle of Lagosians have now picked up.
Oh, you picked my topic.
The fitness lifestyle
yes.
that Lagosians have picked up. Before we get to the 10-kilometer races that they are going to be competing in, let's talk about the lifestyle. How have you seen the improvement of fitness and health?
Now, I retired and I'm a certified fitness trainer, and I started running before. I started running. So when I started running on the road in the night, I used to run like early in the morning before work, and you'll have people like cursing you, telling you to get out of the way. Yeah. Now, I have people clear. If they block me, they say sorry. Some stand by the road and clap early in the morning. Well done, well done. So the life, it's changing, it's improving. I see women. For me, the yardstick to tell how it's improving is the amount of women you see
that
come out and run.
Yes. And so once you see a number of women competing, you know that it has improved. All right, the race is still on. We can see that some people have broken out and they're already leading. So these are the ones that are hustling for the $50,000, the grand prize.
Yeah. The weather is one. The mindset is another. Then the pacer, because the pacer has a particular job. What he does is that he sets the pace.
Yeah.
For instance, per kilometer, you know how much you need to run to be able to maintain maybe like a course record or whatever record you're trying to break. So he stays there, one, to set that pace. He also acts as a buffer for you, the athletes behind. So the athlete doesn't have to think too much. It's basically the
just
mind.
Focus, he's
so
just focusing on the pacer.
Sometimes you see they sink legs, so he just focus on that. He blocks him from, if there's any headwind, he also blocks him from the headwind
so that he can.
Yes, so the pacer has a very
critical job to do, and they're the ones in front right now. All right, so
seeing the 10 kilometers runners doing their thing, and you see ladies running. Last year we had people that survived cancer, for instance, a family of sisters that survived cancer. I had conversation with them the other time, so I'm really hoping that they get to come back again and do their thing. A lot of people are running for different courses, and they are going. That's a milestone memory.
That's the most important thing. At their pace. Just like the pacers that are running for the elites, other people are going at their own pace. If you can't do the 42 kilometers, then just settle for the 10 kilometers from Lekki all the way down here. All right, we are going to have to, right now we are going to throw it back. We are going to throw it back to the commentators, Emmanuel and Azubike Onitsha, to take over the commentary team as the athletes start coming down the stretch.
Well, these athletes continue to march on as far as the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon is underway. Well, Azu, just to bring you in, one thing we can definitely see from this race is the involvement of pacers. I mean, a pacer is someone who helps, to set the pace for runners. You could see the pacer trying to, control the pace of the runners that he's been assigned to. I think it's one of the highlights or the high points of this 10th edition of the Lagos City Marathon.
It's huge and it's brilliant. Like you said, you don't just run beyond a particular pace, so you don't get tired at a particular time when you cannot cross the finish line in the end. I like the fact that they've taken this up, and you can see the beautiful picture. These guys are doing a great job. They've been there, and they are not after the money. You can imagine such an assignment. I wouldn't want to be in that situation if you ask me, Mano.
Just to buttress on the pacers. I mean, it was outlined before the race that there will be pacers, 3 pacers who can also finish the race. I mean, so in as much as they are pacers, they can also go on to compete for the money and finish the race. I don't know if that's fair enough for the athletes, because as a pacer, running this race, getting the chance to also go to the finish line and probably become a winner. It's also, something advantageous for just these pacers, not just for the pacers, also for running as far as this athletics race is concerned for the marathon.
Makes it all lovely. The fact that they can finish is also good. I'm not saying they wouldn't want to go all the way, but the challenge now is, can they beat the pace of some of the top athletes we mentioned earlier? That's the big question that remains to be answered. But it's all fun, it's all beautiful, and it makes it really, really elite. Like we said, we're looking to hit that platinum level. Want to just move beyond gold label to platinum label. And we saw a couple of things happen in 2023 where they changed the format again, from the 3 formats to now 4 formats, taking off gold at some point, bringing in elite and stuff. But now it's back to the 4 that we know. We have silver, we have gold, we have platinum, and platinum is where we're looking to go. And who knows, this 10th year can just be a blessing in disguise for Nigeria. We talked about Herbert Uige earlier, the man behind this whole idea. Would have loved to have him in this race, but as God will have it, he left this world, and hopefully the legacy will continue to live on. And that's what we're doing with everything. The whole Passion Access Bank is pushing in with other sponsors who are making this happen. It's a brilliant stuff to see all of them see that this race is on this level.
Well, it was stated that one pacer will drop at 30 kilometers, the second pacer will drop at 35 kilometers, and the third will drop at 40 kilometers. Again, just to buttress, they can also finish the race if they have the strength, which also means that a pacer can also win the race for the elite categories as well. So it makes it an interesting, marathon race as far as this event is concerned for the 2025 Lagos City Marathon. Well, you talked about the platinum label. I mean, it's the key goal for this year is to achieve that prestigious platinum label status, and it's a feat that would also cement the marathon's place amongst the world elite races. And hopefully at the end of the race in this 2025 edition, we all hope that the platinum label will be achieved at the end of the day. So this is one of the key targets for this year's event. Just to give you some bit of information for those of you who are watching the race right now, the platinum label is a designation given to elite road running events by the World Athletics. So it's the highest level of certification for road races, and it's awarded to events that meet stringent criteria. So, I mean, for the Lagos City Marathon, event stands a good chance of attaining that platinum label status. But one key criteria that might be looked at is just hoping that one of the elite athletes will finish in the time of 2 hours and 10 minutes. Is that possible?
Below, because we've seen very close to that. We saw what happened in 2016. And like you said, it's a big deal. It looks like it's going to be a top issue. And by the way, let's not forget that the women are doing a great stuff, and they are doing all they can to also get to that height. They've also got their own confidences, and like I mentioned earlier, we're looking at having Kebene Chala being challenged for this particular award. She won it last year, and she's here again to do it for Ethiopia. Ethiopians have dominated this. And you talk about the platinum races. Imagine Nigeria being added to the 5 already existing. We've got that in Valencia. We've got that the one in Shanghai, Shanghai International Marathon. We've got the Virgin Money London Marathon. We've got the Nagoya Women's Marathon. We've also got the Tokyo Marathon. Imagine adding the Lagos City Marathon to it to make it 6 in the whole of the globe. That's a big stuff, and that's how close Nigeria is. And we know once we want to get stuff, we go ahead to do it. And look at how determined the ladies are, getting their bottles of water and continuing this race. And by the way, let's not forget that 7up is a huge sponsor. Aquafina is also a huge sponsor. And we say thanks to them for making this race a success.
Well, one of the women to watch out for is Tadu Tashome. I mean, she's got a record of 2 hours and 17 seconds. But we've got this beautiful view of Lagos State, where this race is currently being taking place. I mean, beautiful Lagos. I mean, it's the best place for this race to get underway. I mean, for over 10 years, it's been Lagos.
It has to be Lagos, Emmanuel.
Beautiful view.
It has to be Lagos. First off, I always remember that this was the capital of Nigeria from the start of Nigeria, before it was moved to Abuja. And the state has tried to keep that legacy, that standard and everything. You talk about the beauty, talk about the serene, look at the aerial view we saw just recently, you almost forget that this is Nigeria. But the fact is, this is Nigeria. So we never want to look down on our states, on our country. And Lagos City Marathon is just a way to also promote this. That's the brilliance that the country and the state itself has put into this. Like I said earlier, it has to be Lagos. We talked about Dirty December earlier. It was Lagos. This is some of the stuff that put Lagos on that height. So when you want to talk about a state that's got tourism, Lagos has got it. I want to say kudos to the state government and for also being a huge support to this particular race. From the state governor to the Lagos State Sport Association, all they've been able to do to make sure that this happened. We saw a couple of them at the presser yesterday, and that's how supportive they are. They don't have to send representatives; they want to be here, and we're hoping to see the governor also be a part of this one. So Lagos has really been the standard and the pace setter in this country, and I'm not thinking it's going to stop change anytime soon. Or maybe Emmanuel wants to take it back to his own place.
Turn for this race, we've got Edwin Kibet-Kwech, the Kenyan. He won the 2023 edition of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. We've also got Bernard Sang from Kenya, also the winner from the last edition in 2024. Kwech, the Kenyan, Edwin Kibet-Kwech, is on bib number 1850. And Sang, winner of the last edition of Bernard Sang, is on bib number 1849. Kibet Paul is the biggest male athlete as far as this year's edition is concerned. We've also got a couple of Nigerian men to watch out for: Elia Pam, Adamu Mwazu, and Iyango Solomon Boyi. These are some of the names you want to keep an eye on as far as Nigerians participating in this Access Bank Lagos City Marathon is concerned. And also we've got women to watch out for as well: Elizabeth Nuhu and Charity Gofure. These are also the women to watch out for. Tadu Teshome also amongst the exciting names you can look forward to. Once again, that beautiful aerial view of Lagos State as they approach some of the key points as far as the race course is concerned. I mean, it's always gets exciting as the race continues to carry on. The 2025 Access Bank Lagos City Marathon.
What a view, Emmanuel. What a view. I'm hoping to see my apartment just to the lights of it. And they're approaching 3rd Mainland Bridge for the guys. They're getting really closer. They're getting on that bridge as soon as possible, getting very close to Yanoworo. And that's the beauty that we're looking forward to. That's the strength we're talking about. And these are guys who have been doing this for a couple of minutes now. Hopefully, like we said, we're going to see that 2 hour and beyond 10 minutes mark broken, and really push for that platinum label that we've been looking forward to. Let's not forget that we have the likes of Edwin Kibet-Kwech, like we mentioned earlier, the 2023 winner on this race. He's got his best at 2 hours, 8 minutes and 17 seconds. Maybe he's going to be doing it right here in Nigeria. A big stuff to look out for. You already mentioned the winner for last year. Bernard Sang is also on the list. And we've got Kimotai, Joe Kipkose, who also is looking to do a great stuff in this one. He's got his personal best at 2 hours, 11 minutes and 51 seconds. He did that in April 2016. So a couple of the top names also right on this list. We're looking forward to just seeing who's going to win this one and who understands this weather and this terrain better would actually pay off in the end. Because I've checked these races, Emmanuel. Some of them do better in some other countries, while some do better in some other countries. So it's about the terrain and how you can cope with the weather.
Just to take you through some of the race course as well. I mean, from the Corona Road of the Oworoshoki before turning to 3rd Mainland Bridge, you've also got Ilubirin extension to the Sura entrance junction at Dolphin Estate, Dolphin Bridge, Osborne Junction, Cameron Road Junction, Ikoyi Registry, Bordelon, Lekki Link Bridge, turning after Lekki Gates, Oriental Hotel, Quillox Law School, Bishop Oluwole by Kasumu, Akin Adesola, Oyinjolayemi, and the finish definitely will be at Echo Atlantic. Still early days in this race, a little over 30 minutes into the race. These athletes continue to fire on. Like I said earlier, and like I've always said, I definitely will want to see all athletes participating makes it to the finish line. So it's not going to be at the end of the day, they will be proud of what they dished out so far as the Lagos City Marathon is concerned. I've loved every bit of what the Pacers have done so far in this race. I mean, just controlling the tempo from every athlete that they've been assigned to, and also for the ladies as well who are also participating in the race. Ladies always also want to get in the picture as well, and these ladies will be hoping to achieve their personal best and their personal record as far as the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon for this year's edition is concerned. Some names, like we mentioned earlier, to look forward to, just to give you some bit of specifics. The athletes almost at Todd Mainland Bridge. They were approaching a couple of moments ago, and they are now at the Todd Mainland Bridge. These athletes continues to carry on, showing no signs of slowing down.
They even get faster when they get closer. They're saving the energy for the best, for the last rather. And you can see the men who have taken over, getting on Third Mainland Bridge. The elite athletes, as usual, expected to be leading this. And this is beautiful. See them get off to Third Mainland Bridge. That's where they are at this point in time. And we love the fact that they are going up gradually. It's a brilliant race. It's something that's got to do with consistency. 34 minutes gone already, and these guys are just looking to have something great. Emmanuel, I'm looking forward to a photo finish in this one. It's always very tough, but I won't be surprised if it happens in this race. It's the 10th edition, and you know, like you mentioned earlier on the screen, it's got every of the numbers, every of the digits that you mentioned, and one athlete will not just want to go all the way down. There will be competitions at the end of that race. It's most likely going to be that man that did it last year looking to do it again, Bernard Sang. But lots of competition waiting for him at the end. And for the ladies too, we're not going to forget the fact that they are looking forward to getting something great in this one. We've got 5 elite athletes, 7 for the men, 5 for the women. That's 12 altogether. And these are the athletes who most likely will looking to break this record that will push Nigeria to that platinum label.
Well, not to forget the team of the 2025 Access Bank Lagos City Marathon, Miles to Memories. I mean, it perfectly encapsulates the spirit of this year's marathon. I mean, each runner's journey on the race today will act as a bridge between the past and the future. I mean, earlier on we were talking about the legacy of the now late Herbert Wigwe, whose vision has been really, really helpful and handful as far as the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon is concerned. So when Access Bank and this marathon race started in 2016 or thereabouts, I mean, it was just to encourage a healthy lifestyle amongst Lagosians, but under his vision, the race continues to grow, the vision continues to, be built on and built upon, and it quickly grew into a stature today. And I mean, over 600,000 registered athletes and 14 countries having participated across the 10-year span of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. So Miles to Memories is the team of the 2025 edition, and these athletes today will be hoping to create memories and legacies, not just personal memories and legacies, but also legacies pertaining to the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon in general.
A great one, I tell you. And this joy that we have this race continue and doesn't die with the man who actually started it is a big show of consistency, and the thing that has got to do with Access Bank and the co-sponsors. Beyond them, they just know that this race cannot die with the man Herbert Wigwe. What a joy. That's one thing that I have understood. You don't start something and let it end with you. It should outlive you. And that's what we are still enjoying today. Imagine that it was the 10th year and we cannot do anything because of challenges that happened behind the scenes. We want to say kudos to that man, and we'll continue to pray and hope that, that God gives them the family to continually bear that loss. Like you mentioned earlier, just to reconfirm, the men just got fully into Third Mainland Bridge. They're just in the beginning, and they'll be connecting to other points as they've been directed. And so surely going to be picking one winner from that race. A brilliant view as the ladies are also doing their stuff, getting really, really closer to the point.
These athletes with their respective techniques, the pacers also leading the charge as far as these athletes are concerned, approaching the 40-minute mark into the race. We hope that record time will be achieved to attain the platinum label status as far as the Lagos City Marathon is concerned. I mean, it's something we really want to see. It is something that we hope is achievable at the end of the day, because I mean, across 10 years, I mean, whatever angle we want to look at it, the criteria, the organization of the Access Bank Lagos City over the years, you know, the it is, you know, the amount of countries who come into Nigeria, Lagos State to be precise, to take part in this race. I mean, you have a feeling that, I mean, it should attain that platinum label status. But we hope at the end of the day, we'll talk about the conditions, the weather conditions just before this race in Lagos, the humidity as well, and affecting the chances of these athletes attaining that time to attain that status. But as far as it's the key target for this year's edition, we hope at the end of the day, the organizers will hope that they get to achieve this platinum label status as far as the race is concerned. Just to remind you, this live broadcast is powered by What Network, the 2025 Access Bank Lagos City Marathon from Lagos State, Nigeria, the 10th edition, a decade of excellence as far as the event is concerned.
And just to remind you, we'll have a lot of sponsors that also made this happen, that's bringing this to life, and we want to say thanks to all of them by just calling out their names as quickly as possible. Thank you to Access Bank, the lead sponsor. They've been doing this for the 10 years. We've got 7up, we've got Kia Motors. They are behind everything mobile, automobiles as far as this race is concerned. We've also got Airtel, we've got Casio. When you talk about Casio, you talk about everything that's got to do with the timing and all those stuff and behind. Rexona is also here. Compass, one of our top sponsors. PZ, ValueJet, one of the top aviation companies in Nigeria. So Brila FM, we've got Eco Atlantic, and like you mentioned earlier, kudos to What Network for putting this on your screen. And I tell you, it just makes it all brilliant when sponsors keep coming, seeing this dream and tapping into it and keeping that space. Some starting for the first year, some in their second year, some have been there from day one. I would say kudos to all of them, and thanks for making the Lagos City Marathon a race that has not died and continues growing when you talk about prize money and even on the labels for marathon races. Who says we cannot reach platinum label on the 10th anniversary?
It will be a special grand occasion if he attains that status as far as the platinum label is concerned. I mean, and for every achievement of these labels, I mean, the event is currently on the gold label at the moment, and the prize money increased to 50,000 with attain the gold label status. And if it gets to platinum, no doubt the prize money will increase. But talking about prize money for this year's edition, we've got $50,000 for the first position for the men and for the women. Second position goes on with $20,000. Third position, $15,000. Fourth position, $12,000. So it goes on and on. And this prize money will definitely increase if it gets to the platinum label status. That's for the 42-kilometer race for the men and for the women. And we've also got the Nigerian prize money for men and women. The first position for the 42-kilometer Access Bank Lagos City Marathon 2025 for the Nigerian prize money for the men and for the women. First position will be going on with a sum of 2 million naira. Second position, 1.5 million naira. Third position, 1 million naira. Fourth position, 500,000 naira. That's for the Nigerian prize money for the men and for the women. Just to remind you as well, we've also got the 10-kilometer race for the male and for the female, which also comes with its own prize money. I mean, in as much as these athletes will want to, participate and, get a healthy lifestyle, show their fitness levels for this race, no doubt you can take away that the prize money is also something eye-catching that aids the participation of these athletes.
I tell you, the prize money is really key. You don't want to go through all of this. That's the difference. A lot of us see those who do those road walks and wake up very early in the morning. I see a couple of them do a couple of stuff on Third Mainland Bridge over the weekend, and they are there. Some of them every Saturday they come all out. This is the result of some of the things that we see, and that's why you cannot take it away from the Kenyans. Go all the way, do some mountaineering. Go all the way, the Ethiopians, do some mountaineering for the women also. You talk about the Ugandans. These are the things that keep them going, and when they end that prize money, $50,000 is no joke. $30,000 is no joke. They have paid their dues, and you don't have any reason to look down on them. You might not like their looks or their physiques, but the most important thing is the fact that they have been consistent. And that's why we are looking at them on the screens at this point in time and celebrating them and looking at the records they have broken. Sincerely, Mano, this is one of the hardest jobs I have ever seen. It's really, really a tough one. But as much as it looks easy to these guys, it's not a joke. Some of them are even ready to go for 5 kilometers. But the joy is the fact that we have men who can even make it happen. It might not look good for you. You might be some very good footballer, but I always say don't look down on athletes who come on the roads to make these races count over the years. And that's what we're saying, even with Nigerians making it happen. And I hope one of these days we'll see a Nigerian do this, Emmanuel.
Hopefully one of these years a Nigerian will get to attain that winning status as far as the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon is concerned. Well, he talked about one Ugandan as far as the elite athletes are concerned for this race, while Wamawa Lydia Naliaka, the only elite Ugandan athletes running for the 2025 Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. Well, 44 minutes into the race, these athletes continue to power on, continue to charge on. You could see just doing all they can to keep their strength alive, keep the energy alive, and they also continue to go. You could see the change of pace in their respective breath. I mean, it's not easy marathon. I mean, there's been this debate if long distance races and those are the short distance races, which tends to be more difficult, sprinting fast and going for this long distance races. Techniques are different, no doubt, but it's always not easy running for long distance as far as marathon events and races is concerned.
That's a tough question you just asked, Emmanuel. It might look so easy to answer. You could easily say it's the long distance races, but what it takes to also be the 100 meters race or 200 meters race is really, really huge. That's sprints, like we call it, and you want to see an athlete like Usain Bolt set up a record. I saw his trainings a couple of times and I'm like, wow, is this what this man goes through to make this happen? Tying things that are times 2 times heavier than he is, and pulling those stuff. The pulleys are crazy, but these guys have to also do their own thing. So like you said, there are different terrains, different tactics to becoming the best in these races, but you still want to feel that it's the sprint races that are easier, and this seems tougher. But whichever way you look at it, Emmanuel, I wouldn't want to be put on the spot. I just want to enjoy the races and make it happen. Even though the 100 meters and the 200 meters and all of that sprint races get more attention because it's short and good. You want to watch these for that long, sit down for 2 hours to see how these guys are going about it. People just want to see the finish line. They don't want to know what you went through. But this is what we're following right now, and I want to give it to the marathon runners. Doing this for the 2 kilometers or even for 10 kilometers is no joke. And I must say kudos to all of them who have made this happen.
I was getting closer to an hour into the race of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. Just to remind you once again, it is the 10th edition, and he hopes to be a landmark event as far as the 10th edition is concerned. I mean, 10 is that number of completeness, a number of perfection, because it encompasses the whole single digits when put together. And this 10th edition, with the introduction of pacers, has added extra light to this year's event. So yeah, the pacers leading the way, and we hope that they get to go to the finish line. Well, as far as our marathon races is concerned, it helps these athletes to set and achieve some of their personal goals, enhancing motivation and productivity. Marathon runners always encounter obstacles throughout the race. I mean, you never know what these athletes encounter as they continue to power on, as they continue to charge on. But it depends on them with the ability to adapt, to push through pain barriers and remain focused on the goal that sets them apart as far as this race is concerned. We'll go over to Tega. We've got Tega, who is also there with some of the finest analysis from the studios.
You are into the live studios of World Network, the official broadcast partners of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. And my goodness, the race is looking at the very business end. This is where $50,000 begin to mean a little more. I still have with me Swore Chappelle in the studio, and I have with me the liaison officer of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon in Otonye Iworima, and she was telling me that this 48 minutes is not looking like the time that I want. Otonye, what do you mean?
No, you are thinking, oh, they are fast, but sometimes people that don't run tend to gauge things differently. So they are fast, yes, they are fast, but to you it might look slow. But then again, 48 minutes, it's a lot for them that are fast. So for someone like me, that would be like an hour, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, that would be like
2 days. 2 days. No, we are workers. We know where we are at.
We already know where we are at. The Pacers are no longer leading. This is the business end now.
Yeah.
So the Pacers are still leading, but we can now see the elite athletes.
You can see the behavior. No,
yes.
You can see the behavior. They share. Because they have a click. Sometimes you could see. A lot of them are from Kenya, and then some of them are from Ethiopia. So they kind of move like a pack.
Yes.
Yeah.
They actually organize themselves like a pack. So they move in packs. It's strategic. Like for instance, if the Kenyans are trying to block the Ethiopians or any other person, you know, they strategically
protect
and they help the others push the others. If there wasn't a pacer here, they actually pace themselves.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
fantastic!
It's teamwork. It's their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Ethiopians, Kenyans, and now Ugandans are joining.
I love that you say that because, you know, they have to move in blocks. For the men, if you notice, it's mostly the Kenyans that are moving together. The former winner, we have Kibet already. The man in blue is already arranging himself to do the Selassie beat. He doesn't come up front when they are this part of the, you know, the race. This is just 21 kilometers getting into 22 kilometers. But for the women, it's the opposite. Who moves in block is actually the Ethiopians.
Yes.
That's why you have a bulk of the winners at the marathon, mostly from Ethiopia. They've owned their
protected themselves. They've owned, like you said, they've owned their constituency.
They took it over from the Kenyans, the women. So they do that a lot. So it's fun to watch how they strategically run.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't understand. They really do that, blocking other people. Sometimes if they think too many people are in the lead pack, they speed up,
yes,
so that they lose some people.
And they get that breakaway. That is so fantastic. Speaking of constituency, let's talk about the Nigerians in this constituency. It is so amazing to have this kind of people, this kind of thing happen in your country, and somehow you're still not there. The highest ranked for a woman was 6th position, the Nigerian.
Yeah.
For the men was 3rd.
Yeah. 33rd.
We have that pack as a Nigerian marathon country.
First of all, the Kenyans, for them, it's
a lifestyle.
It's not just a life, it's their life. Do you get? It is something we can build here, and we have started building. You see, road running is the fastest growing sport in the world.
Yes.
And really fast growing in Nigeria. You have almost a race now every weekend. And the people play, 2 people are like the Kenyans of Nigeria. So if you monitor these races, you see they come. For instance, in Abuja, when we do it, the boy that won it, and he was 2nd, he beat the Kenyans that were there. It was half marathon, he was 2nd. So when you give them races like this, they improve.
Yes.
So we know Kenyans and Ethiopians, where nobody is really arguing with them now. What you want to do is to catch up with them for now. You can overtake them, not saying it's not
impossible.
I'm not saying it's not impossible, but you have to work at it. And we are building up to that.
And it's possible because, I mean, the other day it was a Japanese man who was just a regular civil servant that won the Boston Marathon. And because of the weather he trained in, because it rained at that marathon. And then you have people that, you know, grow up around that area for Jos, Plateau, that could be the Eldorets. I think they need to develop it.
I think we need to develop that. We are still on 3rd Mainland Bridge. 52 minutes so far into the 42-kilometer race. All right, we are still waiting on standby for those that are going to come in from Lekki, but so far almost 52 minutes, almost an hour, and they're halfway through. But this has been an amazing, fantastic race so far.
But we have to talk about the 3rd Mainland Bridge. You see, the 3rd Mainland Bridge,
tricky. That's the tricky part.
That is the test of 3rd Mainland Bridge is 11.8 kilometers.
Yes, sir.
From start. So, and it's lonely. Usually people like to run. That's why strategically, it might help you if you run in a pack on the third mainland.
So you don't lose focus.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
If you're on your own, then it depends on, for one, the wind, because you know the bridge over. If it's windy that day, if you're the only person,
that means you'll be fighting against the wind.
So it helps to have a pack, but sometimes if you're too fast and you go on your own, well, it's okay, but it helps to have a pack. And when you're on your own, it tends to be lonely.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like, if you're not experienced enough, even if you're experienced,
it's not even the experience
even if you're experienced, it tends to be lonely and
windy
can
because
get
of the
to you.
Yeah.
So you have to, the mind,
your psychology.
That bridge will tell how strong you are.
I'm telling you. And you notice one thing about it. That's why most people have not been able to defend their title. Yes. They never are able to, because they just land. They don't get to run through the tracks or the route. It is as you land, you enter. So it's muscle memory.
You can't master the track before the time.
You can't master it.
But for me, that's part of being. It's like Boston Marathon.
Yeah.
It's hilly.
Yes.
Even when Kipchoge ran it,
yes,
he felt it.
He almost choked.
He felt it. It's hilly. It's not for World Athletics does not use it. It's not a standard World Athletics course, so you can't break a record on it. You can't set on it. You can't qualify for anything because Boston Marathon is like 100 and for something years old.
Yes.
So they've had it for. But it's challenge. Yes.
Yeah, it's cultural.
It's more cultural than the World Athletics.
Exactly. It's culture. It's more cultural than anything because the winners here qualified for the Paris Marathon last year. So you can qualify for this one, and that's what that's one of the beauties of the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. And so we are going to, whilst we're on Third Mainland Bridge, I remember this spot on Third Mainland Bridge. I had a flat tire here.
Oh no!
But I can see that if I even had the strength of any of the pacers, I could have helped my situation that day.
Really?
All right, so we are going to hand you over back to the commentator Azubike and Emmanuel.
Well, beautiful analysis there from Tega and her team, live from the studios for the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. Well, the race is getting interesting. Well, the Pacers, I cannot too much emphasize what they've done so far, how they've handled this race, leading the runners they've been assigned to. I mean, for you to be a pacer in this kind of race, you need to have the strength. You need to have, the tenacity to carry on and to be able to know what each athlete will be able to entail as far as this long distance races is concerned. Not just the pacer for the males, we've also got for the women as well, who are also participating in this race. Not an easy job, definitely, and we don't know what the mindset of these pacers are, if they are going to win or they are just there to lead the team of athletes that they've been assigned to. We never can tell.
Man, $50,000 is no joke. There is no way they are going to pay a pacer up to $50,000. You cannot get as much as the prize money. You're going to get something. So why not just go on for the race? If I was a pacer, I'll get greedy at this point, and this is the first time being greedy will never be an offense or never be a sin in that sense. But I tell you, they've been doing a great job leading the guys, and just staying in front is no joke. And the idea is just to, like I said earlier, keep them on their paces, keep them on their track, so they don't run unnecessarily fast and get tired towards the end of the race. We said something earlier before we saw the fullness of the day. The athletes who were in front are no longer in front at this point in time. So it's not about who starts the race sometimes. And the ladies really doing well, I tell you. Brilliant race from them. They're finally on Third Mainland Bridge. They've gone really far. And they're getting to that point that we call them unilag when you're driving.
Something was said in the studio that the Third Mainland Bridge can be really tricky, in this race. One of the courses for this races. I mean, about 11.9 kilometers Third Mainland Bridge. So for these athletes to be able to go past that particular location, I mean, it really, really says a lot, going around that bridge, as well as to see the men who are currently leading the race for this Access Bank Lagos City Marathon. I don't know what your thoughts are on that part of the Third Mainland Bridge aspect.
I've seen these races over time. I've gone through that same bridge over and over again. If you're going through the Obalende axis on Third Mainland Bridge, it's easier to just get to the island. But now you're going to make a turn connecting to Lekki and all, and you are going to come back to the Lagos Atlantic. it's a big one for them, and it's something that's got to do with tenacity and resilience. That perseverance is needed, and you must give kudos to these athletes. 42 kilometers. Like you mentioned, just the bridge alone is 9 kilometers. Look at how long they had jogged, or they had been running to get to those points before even connecting to Turbulent Bridge. And look at how far they have gone. They're almost closing down to the end of it, and I'm like, this is it. The guy who trekked through, he misplaced his fare. He was pocket picked. He was pickpocketed rather, and in the end, he said he left at 4 o'clock. He got off Turbulent Bridge at like 7, spending about 3 hours on the bridge. And this is what these guys have done in a couple of minutes. That's the athletes, and more to the pacers who have chosen that assignment to just be the leaders of the other guys. And most times we've never had a pacer win the race. I've made some research and I've not found any. I'm not gonna say it's really happened today, but like I said, kudos to them, and I love the fact that the athletes are also showing themselves some love. That brotherliness between the men is also very much needed. Look at what Kivet just got off from his fellow athletes, getting some bottles of water and sharing, just to show you the friendliness and the family nature that you get on the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon.
As you can see, the athletes getting themselves hydrated along the way for this Access Bank Lagos City Marathon, the leading room, and also in the races. As you can see on your screen, continue to power on and charging on. You can see some just getting hydrated. I mean, it's how we talk about the weather conditions here and the humidity here in Lagos as far as this race is concerned. I mean, you couldn't fault these athletes. Along the way, getting some bottle of water to give them more strength and more energy to carry on in this race.
We're
a little shy of an hour into this race. I mean, exactly. In less than a few seconds, we're going to hit the 1 hour mark as far as this race is concerned. Running for an hour, that's quite a lot. And I mean, we're looking at, maybe an extra hour to go in this race. I mean, it's a whole lot for these athletes.
One of the longest sports is football. You play for 45 minutes, and sometimes there are even bits of breaks. If the weather is so hot, you have water breaks in between, and there will also be times where the referee will have to call a halt, no breaks. That's why this is one of the hardest events you